And a good afternoon. It looks like it's 3 o'clock here in Las Vegas, Nevada. Welcome aboard. It is Air America with Russell Mays. That's me. Woo! Boy, it's been a little bit, but I'm glad to be back on the air again with you folks. It's been requested. I've got a better time slot right now. 3 o'clock here on the West Coast, 6 o'clock on the East Coast. Weather is looking pretty darn nice out there. And let's see what we have going on. 92 degrees here in Las Vegas. Beautiful skies outside, which turns us to a lot of ridiculous stuff that's going on. Reason why I wanted to change up the format a little bit, basically calling it Air America. And the reason for Air America is simple and to the point. Doggone it, this is the United States of America. This is our country. This is why we live here, work here, and then raise a family here. Why do we allow so much of the radical crap that goes on with our political leaders? Why do we allow so much junk to happen to our country and everybody blaming our country for all the problems? And it's gotten to the point where I'm just sick and tired. And you know how everyone talks about, well, if you don't like it, just leave. Yes, I know that's pretty stupid of a statement to make, but why are you here? Why do you hate your freedoms so much? Why do you want to have the government run your life? And I'm going to take, let's do this. Let's take Planned Parenthood, the abortion issue. All I hear time and time and time again of these pro choice people, or basically pro death people, is this is my body. Keep your government hands off of it. Well, all right. Then why do you want the government in all the other aspects of your life? Oh, we got to make sure you don't have straws in California. And we got to make sure that your kids going to the right schools, and you can't do this. And we've got to allow everybody across the border free of charge, coming in, doing whatever they want to, anytime they want. It's getting out of hand. And I'm going to be getting into a lot of stuff today. I hope I can work it all in. Of course, we're going to get into um, the Mueller report and all the subpoenas that are going on, trying to get all these people to litigate or investigate the Trump win of the election. But what people don't grasp on this, during the Obama administration, does anybody remember Edward Snowden? Do you realize he was the one that actually brought forth what the Obama administration was doing with the FISA courts? How they were manipulating and spying on everybody, utilizing the FISA courts to spy on Americans. Data gathering. Just because they said they hadn't done it anymore, oh, we're sorry, we're not going to do it, doesn't mean they stop. That's the other thing. Now, why does everybody question Trump when he says, oh, they were spying on me and using false FISA reports? Like it's never happened before. That's all Hillary Clinton, Obama, Kerry, the rest of them did. Eric Holder, all of them. Nancy Pelosi knew all this. Chuck Schumer. Woo, man, I'm telling you, I am just up to here on the idiocy. And I call it idiocy because it's one of two things. Seriously, flat out, it's one of two things. Either they are so stupid that they have no idea of what they're doing, or they honest to God believe the American people are so stupid and will allow them to do whatever they want to. You can't be in, wow, being on for the first first time in a few months, which is great. I'm glad to be back with you folks. You absolutely glory. It's beautiful, beautiful. Glad to be here. We are listener supported. 91.5, the Rebel HD2, KUNV, Las Vegas, the broadcast services of UNLV. Phone number is 702-895-3915. I'll be rebroadcasting this on my website at Russell, or that's the email. It'll be radiorussell.net. If you want to see all the previous shows, that's perfectly fine. We'll take care of all that good stuff there. I'm also videotaping it, and I'll put up the video of this show too. Also, you can follow me on Facebook and Twitter too if you want to. Okay, so I have a whole list of things that I want to get to. Let's let's go ahead and do it this way. Okay, let's start off with one of the things that just tweaks my knickers, if you will. The repatriation for the slaveries, giving money back to the slaves. Why? It was 150 years ago. Why? I have and do not know of anyone that was a slave. I do not know of anyone that is a slave, unless you're in the Democratic Party and then you're a slave to Nancy and Chucky Baby. And the reason why I bring it up is when you mention the word slave, the first thing you do is envision the blacks from Africa picking cotton, being beaten and whipped. Happened. Yes, it did. Nobody mentions the Chinese slaves. No one mentions the white slaves. No one mentions all the other slaves that were brought here to this country. Now, let's take it down one step more. Even the Latinos, even those the Mexicans, they were slaves too. Okay, let's really get to the nitty gritty of this, or the downright thing. If you want to be compensated for your families being enslaved, or your history of your genetic line was enslaved, why are you trying to get it from the United States? Um, don't you realize before we 1776 and we won all those years before, everybody was brought in by the British. It was the British trade bringing slaves to this country and other countries too. The slave trade was huge. The British Empire was in charge of all that. They enslaved the American colonists also. That's why we have the Declaration of Independence. That's why we have the Constitution. That's why we had the Revolutionary War to stop all this. But yet, nobody wants to consider that. Everybody wants a free handout. Let's face it, there isn't one family on this entire planet that hasn't had issues at some time in their past. Simple as that. Everybody's gone through something. Now you want to get paid for something you never went through. There are still Holocaust survivors. They're not asking for money to be paid back by Germany or Italy. Why? There's people that are actually still alive that had dealings with the concentration camps. Just a little tidbit, AOC better go back to school. That woman is totally nuts. New York, you want to keep that woman in there? You deserve everything in her district that you get. Every stupid idea, we ought to bury that woman in refugees. Put them all on a bus, take them straight up there, and dump them in her area. Simple as that. She thinks they're all Holocaust victims. Pull them all out of the refugee um, institutions and put them in her backyard. Now, my twisted little brain has gone one step further on this. And this is directly at the left and the Democrat socialists and this keep your hands off my body people. And I want to be what I want to be and do whatever I want to. You've got these transgenders that are going into women's rooms. And you got these transgenders or identifying as transgenders or identifying as a woman in sports against the women. And they're actually men. I don't care what they say. If you had the operation and had it removed, let me, you better sit down for this because it might scare you. You're a man without the appendage. Period. Just because it was whacked off doesn't mean you're a woman. I don't care how many hormones you take to make your muscle smaller or whatever they're talking about. No, it's absolutely not fair. But yet you have everybody protesting on the streets saying they have the right to be who they identified as. Fine, let's go there. I identify just like the woman that was in charge of the NCAA or whatever she did. She was a white woman pretending to be black. She identified as black. Well, I want to identify as black so I can get paid for their my history and my slave family too. So they better give me some of that money also. So I guess everybody can do that. Let's all identify, self-identify as someone that was a slave at one time. So now the government has to pay all of us again, and that's what they want anyhow. Just give them money. That's all there is to it. It's gotten so far off the deep end, and I just wonder if it's truly the Democrats and the media's fault. Or do these people really, honest God, believe they deserve money for what their ancestors might have gone through? And when I say might, What if you're one of the ancestors that owned slaves? So then you got to give up your money also. And this is just a small issue that distracts from the problems we have in our country. Why do we deal with stuff like this? I mean, Jesse Mullet, he literally went out and faked a hate crime, and then he let him off. What was the Attorney General Fox, or the Attorney Fox? She goes, "Oh, no, 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 no," and you can't tell me that wasn't a racial thing, because she was black and he was black, and she was part of the group, if you will. So she was a racist also. I'm sick and tired of these Democrat left. I mean, oh, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? All right. Moving right along. We're about 17 after the hour, 3 already. Time is flying. I got a lot of things to talk about. I'm looking up here. It says now the House Democrats want to vote on a possible Kellyanne Conway subpoena. They want to bring her in on a subpoena. They have issued like 500 subpoenas over the course with the Mueller report. What are these people doing? They're not even doing what you elected them to do in the House of Representatives. They are there to make this country better, as they said in every one of their speeches. I promise to uphold the Constitution and make it right. And that's all they do is yak, 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 yak. Okay. It's such a web that we weave when we practice to deceive. Think about this. I'm going to take Joe Biden as just an example, but they all fall into the same bucket, and both Republicans and Democrats both. Joe Biden has been in politics for like 50 years. Same thing with Nancy Pelosi, same thing with Chuck Schumer, same thing with Mitch McConnell, same thing with Lindsey Graham. He might not have been there that long, but all of them been in office a very long time. And did you realize that all of them are spewing the same thing over and over again? Joe Biden says, "Oh, we're going to do great. We're going to have better jobs for you people," even though Trump has got the best economy in history of 80 years. But we're going to do it better. Okay. So if you can do it better, why didn't you do it better? What stopped you from doing it better since you were in office? My God, you were vice president and you couldn't get things done then, or you didn't want to get things done then. And the same thing with the rest of them. If they really wanted to get things corrected, they would correct them, but they don't. We elected these people to fix things. And I don't care how much you hate Trump, how much you say he's an idiot. All of a sudden, this powerful man from real estate making all these deals everywhere and making a masses of billions of dollars, all of a sudden he becomes an idiot after he wins the election. I think he's the smartest man in the world because he took the Democrat Party and told him to go take a hike. And he's still telling him to take a hike. No matter what they're going to throw out there at him, it bounces off. And the reason why it bounces off is because he's been in front of that firing squad so many times before. The reason why all these accusations of these other politicians work or don't work is because either they put their tail behind their legs and run away, or they have the media covering for them so they don't have to worry about it. A lot of things going on with that. I don't know. We're about 21 after the hour, and I'm Russell Mays, and this is Air America. All I know is there's just so much going on, and Mr. Donald Trump, our president, and yes, no matter how much you hate him, he's your president too. If he's not your president, then leave. I really could care less anymore. Personally, when that one lady walked up and popped that balloon, that was great. The light went off in here again. Got my good old light turner back around her, if that's what you want to call it. She walked up and stuck a pair of scissors into that baby balloon. That was the greatest moment in life. It's about time the Republicans got a backbone. When the Democrats protest, they burn cars, break windows, loot buildings, put masks over their faces, all this, and yet nothing is done to them. But yet, this woman went up and popped the balloon and she gets arrested. Okay, she deserved to get arrested. For more power to her. I'm telling you, it is so obscure what's going on in this country. They say, okay, look, I know I go off onto a tangents all the time, but what's happening with all the polling, the Quiddick poll and the Rasmussen and the AP and the Fox poll and the ABC poll and CBS poll, and all these polls are showing that Elizabeth Warren, if the election was held today, would beat Trump by 10 points. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Elizabeth Warren would win the election if it was held today against Trump. Are you serious? Who is doing these polls? They have to be taking these polling people. They poll like 1,000 people, and they must do it in the city of LA or in the state or city of New York. The only two places they can get results like that. I just can't believe how much of a joking they are. Unbelievable, unbelievable. Just, I mean, Biden. All of them are beating Trump. How can all of them beat Trump? When Joe Biden did his coming out party or whatever, and I think he had 3,000 people there for his nomination or his announcement of election. Okay, that's perfectly fine. You can do that. But Trump, hmm, we're going to be doing a little bit of that here in just a moment. It looks like we're going to come up onto a quick break here. If it's going to kick in, it should kick in. Maybe it'll kick in if the system is right. It's loading everything all wrong, I'm telling you. It's probably not going to load it. Let's see what happens. And bingo. Nope, it's not going to load it. Figures. Good old, good old, good old. Let's get down to here and let's go ahead and is the show on? All right, let's go ahead and play this thing. If we can get that. All right. Still working? All right, and we're back. I had to get that PSA in because it was slotted to play, and when I loaded up the programs, it didn't load properly, so I'll have to double check on that also. But it's probably because I'm back on the air with a new shift change. And they have to get computers right, but that's okay. We'll do it manually if we have to. That's the way the world bounces, right? But 26 minutes after the hour on KUNV, and yes, we are listener supported. 91.5, the Rebel HD2, right here in Las Vegas, Nevada. All right, what else is going on? And I do have to want to say one thing about those poor motorcyclists killed in New Hampshire, crash identified, including a married couple. There's like 7 of them killed because the truck ran into them. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out how that happened. I guess they haven't even released the investigation. Were they all on the wrong side of the road? Somebody had to have been on the wrong side of the road because motorcyclists in a group like that um, ride in formation. So somebody had to get on the wrong side of the road. I saw the truck on the news, and it was one of those. It was a regular pickup truck, and it had a car carrier hauler on the back, something like that. And they just came right through them. And it's a terrible tragedy. Terrible, terrible. So keep an eye out, especially on motorcyclists. Motorcyclists are good, and they're always kind of constantly saying keep an eye out for motorcyclists. They are hard to see. They do ride in certain areas of blind spots, but let's face it, folks. I'm a rider, but motorcycle riders have to be twice as aware of the way the drivers are. And when I bring that up, and the reason why I say that is because motorcyclists sometimes don't obey the rules of the road. They think because they're small, they could ride between cars. It's called the white line dance. That way they can get ahead. Or they gun it really fast and whip around somebody really fast. So it's not totally the driver's fault. It's also the motorcyclist. It comes down to the simple fact is you're driving on the road, respect others on the road. Be careful. That's all I got to say about that. All right, moving right along. Let's pick up a little tidbit of information that I want to bring on to. The Electoral College. I can't even believe this is a discussion. And the reason why they're mad about the Electoral College is because Trump won the majority of the Electoral College. Killed Hillary. It was great. Loved it. But because California and New York had 3 million extra voters for the Democrat Party, made them mad because she won the popular vote in those 2 states. So, do you folks want California and New York always telling us what president we're going to have? I don't think so. Our founding fathers 250 years ago were 10 times smarter than these people are in office now. That's why they wrote the Constitution the way they did it. So it's difficult for idiots like these people to change things. It's very, very difficult to change it. Now, what I think they should do, and this is something that I really believe about the Electoral College, and this is up to the states. See, here in Nevada, they're trying to push the issue that whoever wins the popular vote gets all the Electoral College votes in the state. Well, that's not exactly fair if these people are wanting to be fair. I personally think it should be split. If you have 10 electoral college votes in the state and the popular vote is split evenly, each one should get 5. If it's split 70-30, one should get 7, the other should get 3. I think that would be fair according to the popular vote. The reason why they can't do that is because they require 270 votes to win the presidency. So if they start splitting it up, you might get to 269 and one might get to 240 or something like that. So that might have to be changed or looked into. But the Electoral College is meant so all Americans can have a voice of who is in their leadership. And to be honest with you, our president, Donald Trump, is the only president besides Washington that really cared and cares about the American people. Every other president after Washington and before Trump had an agenda to betterment of their own lives. I don't care who it is. Even Reagan, what a great president he was. And look how much crap he took over by the media because the media hated him too. But yet he was still a little bit of a politician. He played the political game. Trump is learning a hard lesson about politics. When he makes his proverbial negotiations, the art of the deal, he's good at it. But the problem is making the deal with a politician who has no heart or soul and has nothing to lose, no matter how many times they lie, manipulate, or cheat, or change, or backstab each other. Look what they're doing. Look at the Democrats. They're calling each other racist now. These people have no loyalty whatsoever. Honestly, they don't. Why? I'm just totally blown away by these people. They just, I don't know. All right, moving right along here. Let's see what else is going on. This comes back down to the politicians. And I personally think that the politicians really do not care because they really believe the American people are stupid. How many times will they tell you the lie? And they will tell you that same lie again and again and again and again. Oh, we're going to fix this. We're going to do this. Vote for me. We're going to give this to you. Going to give that to you. And they don't do it. So then they spend the rest of their next election term whether it's 2 years, 6 years, 4 years, or whatever it may be, promising that they're going to do better next time as you put me back into office. That's the reason why the Republicans didn't get the wall built, is because they wanted to use it to get back into office again. Well, that didn't work for them. Now they're all out of office, and everybody knew this was going to happen. They were going to try to play the same game they've been playing over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And nothing gets done. We have the ability to fix all of this. Everything. We have the ability to do it. But it goes right along with the pharmaceutical companies now, too. If they cure the disease, they no longer make money. Simple as that. If the politicians fix the border and stop the invasion of our country, they make no more money. That's what it comes down to. It is an invasion. Well, here's something else that comes up. Think about this, folks. A couple of things that are happening overseas. The Brexit. The UK wanting to leave the European Union. The reason why they don't want United Kingdom leaving is because the United Kingdom was supporting the entire European Union. They were sucking them dry. But their people voted and said, no, we want out. Their politicians have been fighting that ever since the vote was passed. They don't want to do what their people are wanting. This new guy presumably will do it, but it's the same story there. It's been 2 years since they voted to get out of the union, and they're still bickering and arguing over it. Oh, how can we do this? What are we going to do? What are we going to do this? It's the same thing here. We've been bickering over who gets what money of the United States instead of the United States getting the money, keeping it here. If we stop the invasion of people coming in, we will be able to stop and start fixing our country and the issues that happen. I don't care if you're here. That's the reason why we're having such a bum rush of caravans coming here. They all know eventually that wall will be done. It's being built slowly. People are building it themselves. Trump is building a wall here, partial there, everything else. It's going to eventually be shut. And they know once that wall is there, they will not be able to get in and cross the way they've been doing it. That's the reason why they're making a bum rush for it. It's also the reason why the Democrats are fighting so hard against it, because they want to get all these people into the country. People are saying they're taking jobs away. They're doing all this. They're fixing medical, taking their medical care and getting all their illegal licenses and all that kind of stuff. All of that is a snow job. It's all been thrown up into your face to block the real reason in there. The real reason is if you bury a country in the indigent, people that have nothing, that will degrade the ability of the country and the government to govern. Once that happens, then they will be able to crash our economy, turn it right back into what George Soros wants: one world power, one denomination, so they're all controlled. Think about this, folks. And you think I'm crazy? Mark this down. Facebook is trying to institute a cryptocurrency called Libra. What this will do will give the buying power of anybody. So if you got $100 and you want to give it to somebody over in France, you just click a button, you get it done. Vice versa. They send it back to you, then you can exchange it for whatever you want to. You want to have Mark Zuckerberg in charge of that. He will be the controlling factor in how you spend your money. And once they find out how easy it is, the regular dollar is going to go by the way of the dodo. They're already trying to get rid of the penny, which is fine. The devaluation of the dollar is down to, I think it's like 35, 40 cents now on the dollar of what it used to be. It's not backed by anything. When Nixon took us off the gold standard, that means the dollar is worth, and the reason why it says in God we trust. It's only worth what you want it to be worth. So if somebody hands you a dollar bill, you take it on faith that that is going to be worth a dollar bill. Once that security or that belief goes away, it becomes worthless paper. Simple as that. I mean, think of it. You take a regular piece of paper and hand it to somebody, and let me hand it to you. Or if I take a dollar bill and hand it to you both like this, what would you take? Take the dollar because you believe it's worth money when both of them are actually the same thing. One just takes more to print it. And then, of course, you're going to get people in there talking about, well, we got to save the paper because of the trees and stop cutting all the trees down. And I don't want to get into that ball of wax. Maybe a little bit later on, we'll do that anyway. So, all right, let's get into some of this other stuff. Let's see. Stop the idiocy. We already did that. Oh, okay. Well, one of the things I do want to get into, and I mentioned it at the beginning of the opening, is, and the reason why I bring it up is because the American people are good at heart. Everybody is. We are solid in our thinking and we want for our values. Most of us. Some people are twisted beyond help anyway. But in general, we all want to work, make a living, raise a family, sit back on the porch with a, beer in hand and let the summer's shine come through. We want to make sure we're not struggling. And I guess everybody does. But to have that, you have to look beyond 6 months. And what I mean by that is we, the people in general, have a 6 month memory. After 6 months, we forget everything that was being thrown at us. Why do you think the media pounds on a subject every day? Every time you turn on the news, it's the same thing over and over. Think about it. It doesn't matter what news station you watch. It's the same thing. You turn on whatever channel it may be, you watch the news for the hour. Top of the hour, it changes, and the next commentator comes on, says, alerting special, and they start the whole report all over again. The reasoning is because people get up at 5, people get up at 6, people get up at 7, people get up at 8. Yes, that's true. But that gets to be annoying when you hear that 24 hours. You come home from work, turn on the news, it's the exact same thing. There are a few news stations out there that don't do that. There's a new upcoming station out there. It's OAN, and I've started checking them out because Fox is starting to go left a little bit because of Donna Brazil and Paul Ryan are there. Paul Ryan is part of the board member, and Donna Brazil, the one that handed all the questions to Hillary Clinton during the debate and got in trouble over that. Fox hired him out. What is this, you know? And especially during all these Democrats and everything else, they're starting to back the Democrats a little bit more, you know. But that's whatever they want. That's their ratings. They've gotten some Democrat socialist viruses in their system now, so they got to deal with that side. But anyway, the reason why I was bringing up the 6 month thing is Ed Snowden broke the scandal of the Obama administration and what they were doing to everybody. They were actually spying on everybody. And don't get me wrong, that what they were doing is still going on now. Just because you get a politician up there saying, "Hey, I'm going to get you a job," they get elected in office and they don't do anything. So you mean to tell me that Obama got up there and said, "Oh, we're bad. We're not going to do that anymore. Thank you very much." And you believe him? You believed anybody? My God, that's power. They were able to do everything. They got everything from Google, Yahoo, Facebook, Twitter, everything you were doing on the internet. If you were connected, you were being spied on. Even now, it's being happening. It's one of the reasons why I believe in VPNs. At least it makes it harder for them to track and spy on you. And I don't want to boast and brag, but I did just set up for a VPN. In the last week and a half, I've been on the VPN now for about 2 weeks now, I guess. It has blocked 862 FISA ads trolling my accounts, my emails, my Facebooks, my Twitter accounts, my website, all of that just to advertise to me. Now, this is advertisers, 862. That's why I was getting buried in advertisements. Every time I went on, it was pop up here and pop up there, no matter how many times I scrubbed the database and everything. It was just unbelievable. So, anyway, the reason why I was getting to this, Ed Snowden might be considered a traitor for exposing our government for doing this. And he might not never be allowed to come back into this country. But he was probably the only person in my mind that understood the oath of office. When I was in the military, I took an oath that stated that I protect this country against all enemies, foreign and domestic, which that was the NSA and the Obama administration were the domestic enemies. They allowed that. He knew exactly what he was going to get involved in, and he knew it had to be put out there. He was the only one. Everybody's talking about, well, a FISA court is a secret court so they can spy on people for terrorism or whatever it may be. Nobody knows what a FISA court looked like. That's what they're saying today. But the document dumps that Ed Snowden put out had FISA courts in there, so they know what they look like. The Guardian is the one that broke the story to the world about that. Actually has all this documentation and they didn't put it out there. Now he's living in Russia because everybody wanted to get, and he was right. If they ever got him to this country when Obama was in charge, you would have never heard from that man again. He would have been buried with Jimmy Hoffa. There's no doubt about it. I mean, if they let Eric Holder get away with Fast and Furious and Loretta Lynch get away with being on the tarmac with Bill Clinton and Comey standing up there saying Hillary is not guilty of everything that is guilty of treason and allowing Benghazi to happen, you think they would have just, oh, that's okay, Ed. Man, you're cool. Have a nice day. I'm not defending the man for what he did or what he didn't do. But the main thing that is the best in the world, this is awesome. And the politicians and the system and the corporations and all these power people can't get through their head, no matter what they do, how tightly they squeeze that fist, the American people or people in general will find a way to get around it. It happened under John F. Kennedy's assassination. They had that plan down to the moment. They knew exactly what was going to happen. And all of a sudden, Zapruder had film, blew their whole alibi right out of the water. All those witnesses were killed within. So that right there, and Ed Snowden, and all these other whistleblowers, somebody's going to come forth. And if you think I'm crazy on this, what happened in 1776? Our government was the King of England. And we said, no more. And we went to war over that. The people stood up for what they wanted out of life. We came over here for religious freedoms. And we built a country based on Christian Judeo beliefs of religion. Other religions are more than happy to come over here and practice. But that's what our country is built on. And that's what the people do. Once they start taking those beliefs away from us or trying to manipulate our children in school to believe something else, like socialism or whatever, and they have no idea what socialism is about, they will turn this country into a socialistic country. But eventually, they will find out that they have been manipulated and now they have to go and fight their own government to win their country back. It's called the stupidity of people. People, they don't want to cause problems unless they're not the one at the forefront. That's why Facebook is so popular. These people can voice their opinions and I am offended by this and I hate that and da 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 da. But nobody knows who they are. They can voice their opinion. They can go running off into their little cubicle or whatever they're doing. They don't have to sit there in the front of the world and face it. Stand up for what you believe in. The people that signed the Declaration of Independence, all of them lost all their property. They lost everything. Some of them were assassinated and killed, all to make our lives better because they knew it was better. They did something different and it works. It became, and we are, the greatest country in the world. And we do have to keep America great. Trump is on the right track. He's got a lot of things against him. His rallies show that the people want this man in there. The only thing is, he's going to get 4 more years. What will happen after those 4 years? They better get geared up. And possibly, if we can get Pence in there for 8 years after that, we might have a chance. But the Democrats are evil. They will do whatever they can to stifle it. You know it. I know it. They know it. And they do not care. And there's a lot of Republicans out there that are behind the Democrats. We're getting close to the top of the hour. I'm Russell Mays, and this is Air America. And now you know why I want the title Air America, because it is our country. We have to keep this country going. We have to take care of business. All these foreign countries, if you people do not want China's products, don't buy them. If you do want them, that's fine too. Buy them, that's commerce. But don't complain about we putting tariffs on their stuff when they do it to us. No, no. This is America. You want the money? Then again, if Obama was still in, he'd be giving it to Iran and Iraq and all the rest of them too. And the last note on that before I slide on out of here is thank God Trump's got a brain on his shoulders. They've been trying to push him into a war so he'll be the bad guy. But he thought about it. And he says, if I have to kill people because of an unmanned drone, he wasn't going to do that. That's a smart man. But yet they're just, if he went to war, he would have been the evil person. And he didn't go to war, he's still the evil person. He's not going to win no matter what. Do what it is for this country, Mr. Trump. Go for it. All I got to say is what a beautiful country we have. We can't lose it because of a wall not being built. We can't lose it because of poor education of our kids, teaching them all the wrong things. If you don't think I'm crazy on that, pick up your kid's history book. Read it. You'll be shocked in how they present things. Read it. Follow up on what your kids are learning. Is the students, there's just so much going on. Be a part of what's happening in your community. Anyway, I'm Russell Mays. I thank you very kindly for joining me this hour. You take care now. Talk to you later. Bye bye.